And I hope everything's okay with his family first. But yeah, I'd love to match up with him.
Yeah. Obviously the thoughts are there with him for sure, but do you sense like this is a game for Dylan specifically that he'll be geared up for?
Yeah, I'm sure he will be.
He was able to turn things around there in the third quarter, outscoring them 37-24.
Yeah, picked up a 24-point quarter. We held them to 24, which is big time. They're a tough team, they're a fast team, so we just had to hang our hat on the defense. We're giving up a lot of offensive rebounds early in the first half, so once we took care of that, we were able to get out in transition and get some easy ones.
Where's the confidence level, not only that you guys can make a comeback, but in each other right now that you're able to finish these games?
Yeah, I mean, we believe, we believe in our group. I think the Atlanta game, giving up that large lead, kind of set us back and, let us know, we have to stay on the gas throughout the whole game. So it's a good learning lesson for us. I feel like we just stole one last game, so, you get rewarded for playing all the way through.
When you talk about this roster being put together, did you sense it would be this strong defensively when you saw the final roster?
I mean, we still have a lot of games left. We have a lot of tough opponents coming up. We're definitely not going to get too happy right now, but, I like the foundation. I like the communication. The communication helps out a lot, regardless if you don't have the athleticism and everything else. We happen to have that, so, that plus the communication helps out a lot.
I'm curious when you look at just Jordan getting the start. He does so many different things, the offensive rebound, the hustle plays. I mean, when you played with him 2 years ago and seeing him now, what are you seeing that's making him be such a factor?
Man, I honestly don't know what it is. I don't know how he has a knack for the basketball. He's always in the right place at the right time. He defends at a high level. He makes the hustle plays that we need. So, he's been hitting on all cylinders for us. But yeah, me and Dylan were just talking about that. He has a knack for the basketball. He's going to find it one way or the other, and it's super impressive.
When Coach I was talking about Goody, he said regardless of what the team does or doesn't do, you need to enable each player's super skill. How helpful is that as a player to know your coach is looking for the areas where you're best at?
Yeah, I mean, Coach has the blueprint. Obviously, he was a part of Cleveland last year. They had a lot of success, and the things that he's implemented to us are things that he drip feeds to us that we learn on a day-to-day basis. I'm still learning the game too, so it's a great relationship, especially when somebody's putting in the time, they're putting in the work, and they're locking into the details of the game.
Coach I was talking about Goody, he said regardless of what the team does or doesn't do, you need to enable each player's super skill. How helpful is that as a player to know your coach is looking for the areas where you're best at?
Yeah, I mean, Coach has the blueprint. Obviously, he was a part of Cleveland last year. They had a lot of success, and the things that he's implemented to us are things that, he drip feeds to us that we learn on a day-to-day basis. I'm still learning the game too, so, it's a great relationship, especially when somebody's putting in the time, they're putting in the work, and, they're locking into the details of the game.
In the last 2 years, we talked to you a lot about field goal discrepancy where you guys were taking less shots than the opponent, but in a game like tonight early on, can you feel it the other way where it's we're grabbing extra possessions here to keep this thing closer than it should be?
Yeah, we shot it terribly, and we're still in a good position. And it's going to be like that some nights. Granted, we make it to the playoffs. There's games in the playoffs where you just can't make a shot, and you still have to find a way to get it done. And the first half of tonight was a product of that.
How much is the bot Gilbert?
You were 11 for 36 the last two nights, and you guys won both games.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I love it. The object of the game is to win.
How much of the
doing other things?
Huh?
Doing other things? You're doing other things to contribute, right?
Not really. I don't like my last two performances, but we won.
Devin, just how good is it to have a guy like Mark that you can just throw it anywhere near the rim and he's going to go grab it?
It's very nice. It is very nice. And, he's doing it on both ends, so I have to continue to reward him. He'll come to me at the timeout sometimes, you didn't see me that play. And, I'm doing my best. So I've been watching a lot of film on it. It's a new dynamic that I haven't really played with, so I'm enjoying it.
And how much is that like when he runs the floor? Like you just mentioned, you got to reward him. Like he's sprinting up and down the floor.
Yeah, he is. I've gotten him a few times. I've given to him a few times, but I'm also turning the ball over at a high rate, and I don't like that at all. So, trying to be protective about that too.
So that first game back, there were a couple that you missed, but there's still a couple being missed. You guys are saying still a work in progress finding it.
Yeah, 2-game slump shooting wise. They came in wins up.
Yeah,
How much is the
exactly.
buy-in with Coach? Just seeing him take those later hours, staying extra, him doing those extra things. How much has that led to the buy-in from the players, seeing how hard he works?
Man, I mean, even from before training camp and even training camp, like we had optional film later in the day, and the whole team was there, even though it was optional. That's little things that go a long way. There's a lot of situations that happen around the NBA where teams give up close games or teams steal a game, and we watch that too. So there's a lot of games every night, and not everybody watches all of them.
Right.
So it's good to highlight those moments. Because they're very useful.
Are you disappointed Durant is not playing here tomorrow?
I hope everything's okay with his family first. But yeah, I'd love to match up with him.
Yeah.
Obviously, the thoughts are there with him for sure. But do you sense like this is a game for Dylan specifically that he'll be geared up for?
Yeah, I'm sure he will be. He's geared up every game.